Ashura, a significant day in the Islamic calendar, holds profound spiritual, historical, and cultural importance for Muslims worldwide. This day, observed on the 10th of Muharram, the first month of the Islamic year, commemorates events of deep religious significance and evokes a range of emotions among the faithful. From the story of Prophet Moses, Musa, and his escape from Pharaoh to the martyrdom of Imam Hussein at the Battle of Karbala, Ashura encapsulates themes of faith, sacrifice, and resilience. Join us as we delve into the full story of Ashura, exploring its historical context, religious significance, and enduring impact on the Muslim world. Ashura, a day steeped in profound historical and religious significance, has its roots extending far beyond the advent of Islam. The term Ashura is derived from the Arabic word for 10, reflecting its observance on the 10th day of Muharram, the first month of the Islamic lunar calendar. This date marks events that resonate deeply within the Abrahamic traditions, making it a day of immense spiritual reflection and commemoration. Before the establishment of Islam, Ashura was observed by various religious communities, most notably the Jews. For them, this day symbolized the miraculous salvation of the Israelites from the tyrannical rule of Pharaoh, as led by Prophet Moses, Musa. According to Jewish tradition, this day was marked by fasting and prayer, a practice that Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, would later encounter and acknowledge during his lifetime. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, the final messenger in Islam, played a pivotal role in the Islamic significance of Ashura. His migration to Medina in 622 CE, an event known as the Hijra, marked a turning point in Islamic history. Upon arriving in Medina, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, observed the Jewish community fasting on the 10th of Muharram. Intrigued by this practice, he inquired about its significance and learned that it was in commemoration of Allah's deliverance of the Israelites from Pharaoh's oppression, a story that finds parallel resonance in the Islamic narrative of Prophet Musa. Recognizing the profound importance of this event, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, declared that Muslims should also observe fasting on Ashura. However, to distinguish the Islamic practice from the Jewish one, he recommended fasting an additional day, either before or after Ashura. This dual-day fasting tradition was encouraged to emphasize the unique identity of the Muslim community while acknowledging the shared heritage of monotheistic faiths. This practice underscores the deep respect Islam holds for previous prophets and their followers, as well as the continuity of the divine message throughout human history. The adoption of Ashura by Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, also reflects a broader Islamic principle, the respect and recognition of the divine messages conveyed by earlier prophets. Islam views itself as the final and complete revelation, building upon and affirming the truths revealed in Judaism and Christianity. Thus, the observance of Ashura serves as a testament to the unity of God's message and the interconnectedness of the Abrahamic faiths. Moreover, Ashura's significance in the Islamic tradition is not solely rooted in its association with the deliverance of the Israelites. It also coincides with numerous other significant events in Islamic history and tradition. For instance, it is believed that on this day, Prophet Noah's Noah Ark came to rest on Mount Ararat after the floodwaters receded. Additionally, it is said that Prophet Abraham, was saved from the fire into which he was thrown by the tyrant Nimrod. These narratives further enrich the tapestry of Ashura's historical and spiritual context, illustrating the consistent theme of divine intervention and salvation. The broader historical context of Ashura also encompasses its role in the early Islamic community's socio-political landscape. The Hijra to Medina marked the beginning of the Islamic calendar and the establishment of the first Muslim community state. In this context, the observance of Ashura served as an early act of communal identity formation, uniting the nascent Muslim community around shared religious practices and historical consciousness. It symbolized the integration of the Muslim community within the broader tapestry of monotheistic faiths, fostering a sense of continuity and connection with the prophetic traditions of the past. Furthermore, the practice of fasting on Ashura was later incorporated into the broader Islamic framework of worship and piety. Fasting, as an act of devotion, is deeply ingrained in Islamic practice, with Ramadan being the most significant month-long fast. However, the fasting on Ashura stands out for its voluntary nature and its specific historical commemoration. It reflects a broader Islamic ethic of gratitude, remembrance, and solidarity with past prophets and their struggles against tyranny and oppression. For Sunni Muslims, Ashura is a day imbued with deep spiritual significance and historical resonance. The observance of Ashura primarily involves fasting, a practice that reflects gratitude, remembrance, and a connection to the prophetic traditions. The significance of Ashura in Sunni Islam is multifaceted, encompassing elements of piety, reflection on divine mercy, and solidarity with the past struggles of prophets and their communities. The roots of Ashura in Sunni Islam can be traced back to the practices and teachings of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Upon his migration to Medina, he encountered the Jewish community fasting on the 10th of Muharram. They informed him that this fast was in commemoration of the day Allah saved Prophet Moses, and the Israelites from the tyranny of Pharaoh. Acknowledging the significance of this event, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, stated, "We are closer to Musa than you," and he encouraged Muslims to fast on this day. This directive not only established the practice of fasting on Ashura within the Islamic tradition, but also underscored the continuity and respect for the earlier prophetic missions. Fasting on Ashura is considered a sunnah, or a practice established by the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. It is reported in various hadith collections that fasting on Ashura holds great merit and expiates the sins of the previous year. For instance, in Sahih Muslim, it is narrated that the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, "Fasting on the day of Ashura, I hope that Allah will accept it as expiation for the year that went before." This profound statement highlights the significance of Ashura as a day of atonement and spiritual renewal, offering Muslims an opportunity to seek forgiveness and draw closer to Allah. In addition to fasting, the day of Ashura serves as an occasion for Muslims to engage in various acts of worship and reflection. Many Muslims use this day to recite the Quran, offer additional prayers, and give charity. These acts of devotion are intended to enhance one's spiritual state, express gratitude for Allah's mercy, and commemorate the historical events associated with Ashura. The emphasis on prayer and charity reflects the broader Islamic values of compassion, humility, and a sense of responsibility towards others. The theological significance of Ashura in Sunni Islam also extends to its role in fostering a sense of unity and communal identity. By observing the fast on Ashura, Muslims around the world are reminded of their shared faith and history. This collective act of worship helps to strengthen the bonds within the Muslim community and reinforces a sense of belonging to a global ummah. The communal aspect of fasting on Ashura serves as a powerful reminder of the shared values and beliefs that unite Muslims, transcending cultural and geographical differences. Moreover, Ashura's significance in Sunni Islam is not confined to its association with the story of Prophet Musa. The day is also linked to various other events in Islamic history and tradition. For instance, it is believed that on this day, Prophet Noah, Ark, came to rest on Mount Ararat after the Great Flood, and that Prophet Abraham, was saved from the fire of Nimrod. These narratives further enrich the spiritual and historical tapestry of Ashura, illustrating the recurring themes of divine intervention, salvation, and the triumph of faith over adversity. The observance of Ashura also serves as a reminder of the transient nature of life and the ultimate accountability to Allah. The act of fasting is not merely a physical exercise, but a means of cultivating self-discipline, mindfulness, and a deeper consciousness of one's relationship with the Creator. By abstaining from food and drink, Muslims are encouraged to reflect on their actions, seek forgiveness for their shortcomings, and strive to embody the principles of righteousness and piety in their daily lives. In the broader context of Islamic worship, fasting on Ashura complements the obligatory fasts of Ramadan, the most significant month of fasting in the Islamic calendar. While the fasts of Ramadan are compulsory and form one of the 5 pillars of Islam, the fast of Ashura is voluntary but highly recommended. This distinction highlights the diverse ways in which fasting is integrated into Islamic practice, offering multiple avenues for Muslims to seek spiritual growth and divine favor. Furthermore, the practice of fasting on Ashura has evolved over time, reflecting the dynamic nature of Islamic tradition. Initially, before the fasting of Ramadan was made obligatory, fasting on Ashura was one of the most emphasized fasts in early Islam. However, after the revelation mandating the fast of Ramadan, the emphasis on Ashura shifted, becoming a recommended but non-obligatory act of worship. This evolution illustrates the adaptive and responsive nature of Islamic jurisprudence, which seeks to balance adherence to prophetic traditions with the practical realities of religious practice. The 10th of Muharram, known as Ashura, holds a particularly poignant and significant place in the hearts of Shia Muslims due to the tragic events that unfolded in 680 CE. On this day, the Battle of Karbala occurred, leading to the martyrdom of Imam Hussein, the grandson of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. This event, laden with sorrow and profound moral and spiritual lessons, has deeply shaped Shia identity, theology, and practices. The roots of the Battle of Karbala lie in the political and social turmoil that followed the death of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. After the Prophet's passing, the Muslim community faced the challenge of selecting a new leader, leading to divisions and conflicts. The Umayyad dynasty, under the rule of Yazid ibn Muawiyah, represented a significant departure from the ideals of leadership and justice that Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, had exemplified. Yazid's rule was characterized by autocracy, moral corruption, and a disregard for Islamic principles. Imam Hussein, the son of Ali ibn Abi Talib, and Fatima, the daughter of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, stood as a paragon of piety, justice, and resistance against tyranny. He refused to pledge allegiance to Yazid, viewing his rule as illegitimate and antithetical to the values of Islam. Imam Hussein's defiance was not merely a political stance, but a profound moral and spiritual position, rooted in the principles of justice, righteousness, and the preservation of the true spirit of Islam. In response to Imam Hussein's refusal, Yazid sought to force him into submission, leading to a confrontation that culminated in the Battle of Karbala. Imam Hussein, along with his family and a small group of loyal followers, embarked on a journey from Medina to Kufa, where he had received calls for support from the local populace. However, Yazid's forces intercepted them near the plains of Karbala, in present-day Iraq. The small caravan of Imam Hussein was surrounded by a vastly larger and well-equipped Umayyad army, numbering in the thousands. The events of Ashura in Karbala are etched in the collective memory of Shia Muslims as a tale of unparalleled bravery, sacrifice, and steadfastness, in the face of overwhelming odds. Despite the dire circumstances, Imam Hussein remained resolute in his commitment to uphold justice and truth. He addressed his followers, emphasizing the principles for which they stood, and prepared them for the inevitable battle. The ensuing conflict on the 10th of Muharram was marked by extreme brutality and sorrow. Imam Hussein and his followers, including his close family members, were systematically killed in a merciless and horrific manner. Among the martyrs were his sons, nephews, and loyal companions, including his infant son Ali Asghar, whose death symbolizes the profound cruelty and inhumanity of Yazid's forces. Imam Hussein himself was killed and beheaded, his body left unburied on the battlefield. A martyr to the cause of justice and righteousness. The martyrdom of Imam Hussein at Karbala is not merely a historical event for Shia Muslims, but a powerful symbol of resistance against oppression, injustice, and tyranny. It is a defining moment that has deeply influenced Shia theology, rituals, and cultural expressions. The tragedy of Karbala is commemorated annually during Muharram, with the first 10 days culminating in the day of Ashura. These commemorations, known as majlis or gatherings, involve recitations of the events of Karbala, eulogies, and expressions of grief and mourning. One of the most profound aspects of the Ashura commemorations is the ritual of matam, or self-flagellation, performed by some Shia Muslims. This act is seen as an expression of solidarity with Imam Hussein and his suffering, a way of physically manifesting their grief and sorrow. While matam is a controversial practice, it is deeply meaningful to those who participate in it, symbolizing their deep emotional and spiritual connection to the events of Karbala. In addition to matam, processions known as azadari are held in various parts of the world, where mourners walk in unison, chanting lamentations and beating their chests in a rhythmic display of grief. These processions serve as public expressions of sorrow and a means of communal solidarity. They remind the participants and observers alike of the sacrifices made by Imam Hussein and his followers, and the enduring struggle against tyranny and injustice. Ashura and the events of Karbala have also inspired a rich body of literature, poetry, and art within the Shia tradition. Marsiya and Noha, forms of elegiac poetry, are recited during Muharram to commemorate the martyrdom of Imam Hussein. These poetic forms encapsulate the deep emotional and spiritual impact of Karbala, evoking tears and reflections on the moral and ethical lessons of the tragedy. The themes of sacrifice, loyalty, and the fight for justice resonate deeply in these works, reinforcing the moral imperatives that Imam Hussein stood for. The theological significance of Karbala extends beyond the immediate context of the battle. It serves as a paradigm for Shia Muslims, embodying the eternal struggle between good and evil, justice and oppression, truth and falsehood. Imam Hussein's stand at Karbala is seen as a continuation of the prophetic mission, a reaffirmation of the principles of Islam as taught by Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. His martyrdom is viewed as a testament to the ultimate victory of righteousness and the moral duty of every Muslim to oppose injustice and tyranny. Karbala's impact is not limited to Shia Muslims. It has also influenced broader Islamic thought and practices. Many Sunni Muslims also revere Imam Hussein and commemorate Ashura in various ways, reflecting the shared heritage and values that transcend sectarian divides. The story of Karbala serves as a universal symbol of sacrifice and resistance, inspiring movements for social justice and human rights across different cultures and communities. In contemporary times, the legacy of Ashura and Karbala continues to inspire and mobilize people around the world. It serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of standing up against oppression and injustice, regardless of the consequences. the values embodied by Imam Hussein, courage, integrity, and unwavering commitment to truth, remain relevant and resonant in today's world, offering lessons and inspiration for all who seek to uphold justice and righteousness. The observance of Ashura is marked by a rich tapestry of rituals and practices that reflect the diverse ways in which Muslims honor this significant day. These rituals vary significantly between Sunni and Shia communities, each drawing on their historical and theological contexts to express their reverence for the events associated with Ashura. From fasting and prayer to public processions and dramatic reenactments, the observances of Ashura encapsulate a wide array of spiritual, communal, and cultural expressions. For Sunni Muslims, Ashura is primarily observed through the act of fasting. This practice is rooted in the traditions established by Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, who emphasized the importance of fasting on this day. As mentioned earlier, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, encouraged Muslims to fast on the 10th of Muharram to commemorate the salvation of Prophet Moses, and the Israelites from Pharaoh's tyranny. Fasting on Ashura is seen as an act of gratitude and devotion, and it is believed to expiate the sins of the previous year. In addition to fasting, many Sunni Muslims engage in various acts of worship and charity on Ashura. These include reciting the Quran, offering additional prayers, and giving alms to the poor. These practices are intended to enhance one's spiritual state, express gratitude for Allah's blessings, and seek forgiveness for past transgressions. The emphasis on prayer and charity reflects the broader Islamic values of compassion, humility, and social responsibility. Sunni Muslims may also participate in communal gatherings at mosques, where they listen to sermons and lectures that recount the historical and theological significance of Ashura. These gatherings provide an opportunity for the community to come together, reflect on their faith, and strengthen their bonds with one another. The themes of unity, solidarity, and shared identity are central to these communal observances, highlighting the collective aspect of Islamic worship. For Shia Muslims, the observance of Ashura is deeply intertwined with the commemoration of the Battle of Karbala and the martyrdom of Imam Hussein. The rituals and practices associated with Ashura in Shia communities are marked by intense mourning, reflection, and expressions of grief. The first 10 days of Muharram, leading up to Ashura, are a period of profound sorrow and remembrance, with the 10th day being the culmination of these commemorations. One of the most prominent rituals observed by Shia Muslims during Ashura is the Majlis, or mourning gatherings. These gatherings involve the recitation of the events of Karbala, eulogies, and lamentations that recount the suffering and martyrdom of Imam Hussein and his followers. The Majlis serves as a space for collective mourning, where participants express their grief through tears, poetry, and elegies. The recitations, often delivered by skilled orators, evoke deep emotional responses and serve to reinforce the moral and ethical lessons of Karbala. Another significant aspect of Ashura observances in Shia communities is the ritual of matam, or self-flagellation. Participants engage in rhythmic chest beating or use chains to strike themselves as a physical manifestation of their grief and solidarity with Imam Hussein's suffering. While matam is a controversial practice and not universally observed, it holds deep symbolic meaning for those who participate in it. It represents a form of embodied mourning, a way of internalizing the pain and sacrifice of Karbala. Public processions, known as azadari, are also a key feature of Ashura commemorations in Shia communities. These processions involve mourners walking through the streets, often carrying replicas of the shrines of Karbala, or symbolic representations of Imam Hussein's battle standard. Participants chant lamentations and beat their chests in unison, creating a powerful display of communal grief and solidarity. These processions serve not only as a form of mourning, but also as a public affirmation of the values of justice, resistance, and sacrifice that Imam Hussein stood for. In some regions, Shia Muslims reenact the events of Karbala through dramatic performances known as taziyah. These performances depict the key moments of the battle, the martyrdom of Imam Hussein and his followers, and the subsequent suffering of his family. Taziyah serves as a vivid and immersive way to relive the tragedy of Karbala, allowing participants and spectators to connect emotionally and spiritually with the events. The dramatization of Karbala reinforces the moral and ethical lessons of the story, highlighting the themes of courage, sacrifice, and steadfastness in the face of oppression. In addition to these rituals, Shia Muslims often observe Ashura through acts of charity and community service. Many distribute food and water to the poor, reflecting the values of compassion and social responsibility that Imam Hussein exemplified. The provision of food and drink also holds symbolic significance, as it recalls the suffering and deprivation endured by Imam Hussein and his followers during the siege at Karbala. By engaging in acts of charity, Shia Muslims seek to honor the memory of Imam Hussein and embody the principles of justice and generosity. Ashura commemorations are also marked by the recitation of Marsia and Noha, forms of elegiac poetry that narrate the events of Karbala and express sorrow for the martyrs. These poetic recitations are a central component of majlis gatherings and public processions, evoking deep emotional responses and fostering a sense of communal solidarity. The themes of sacrifice, loyalty, and the fight for justice resonate deeply in these works, reinforcing the moral imperatives that Imam Hussein stood for. The observance of Ashura is not confined to the rituals and practices of Sunni and Shia Muslims. It has also inspired a broader cultural and artistic expression across different Muslim communities. Ashura has influenced literature, art, music, and theater, reflecting its profound impact on Islamic culture and heritage. The themes of Karbala have been explored in various artistic forms, from classical poetry to contemporary visual arts, highlighting the enduring relevance and resonance of Imam Hussein's story. In contemporary times, the observance of Ashura continues to evolve, reflecting the dynamic nature of Islamic practice and the diverse ways in which Muslims engage with their faith. While traditional rituals remain central to Ashura commemorations, new forms of expression and commemoration have emerged, particularly in the diaspora communities. These include academic conferences, interfaith dialogues, and social justice initiatives that draw on the lessons of Karbala to address contemporary issues. The legacy of Ashura and Karbala extends beyond the boundaries of religious observance, serving as a powerful symbol of resistance against oppression and injustice. It has inspired movements for social justice, human rights, and political reform across different cultures and contexts. The values embodied by Imam Hussein, courage, integrity, and unwavering commitment to truth, continue to resonate with people of all backgrounds, offering lessons and inspiration for those who seek to uphold justice and righteousness in their own lives. In conclusion, the rituals and observances of Ashura reflect the rich diversity and depth of Islamic practice, encompassing a wide array of spiritual, communal, and cultural expressions. For Sunni Muslims, Ashura is a day of fasting, prayer, and reflection, rooted in the prophetic traditions of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. For Shia Muslims, Ashura is a period of intense mourning and commemoration, marked by rituals that honor the martyrdom of Imam Hussein and his followers at Karbala. Through these varied practices, Muslims around the world seek to honor the memory of Ashura, drawing inspiration from its timeless lessons of faith, sacrifice, and resistance against injustice. The legacy of Ashura and its contemporary relevance extend far beyond its historical and religious origins, resonating deeply in the modern world. Ashura serves as a powerful symbol of resistance against oppression, a call for social justice, and a reminder of the enduring power of faith and sacrifice. This legacy is evident in various aspects of contemporary Muslim life, including social movements, interfaith dialogues, and cultural expressions, illustrating how the lessons of Ashura continue to inspire and mobilize people across different contexts and communities. At the heart of Ashura's contemporary relevance is the story of Imam Hussein and the Battle of Karbala. Imam Hussein's unwavering stance against the tyranny of Yazid and his ultimate sacrifice for the principles of justice and righteousness have become a universal symbol of resistance. This narrative has transcended its historical context, offering timeless lessons on the importance of standing up against injustice and the moral duty to oppose tyranny. Imam Hussein's legacy has inspired numerous social and political movements throughout history. His story has been invoked by various leaders and activists who have drawn parallels between their struggles and the Battle of Karbala. For instance, during the Iranian Revolution of 1979, the narrative of Karbala played a crucial role in mobilizing the masses against the Shah's regime. The revolutionaries saw their struggle as a continuation of Imam Hussein's fight against oppression, and the symbolism of Karbala was used to rally support and inspire resistance. Similarly, the themes of sacrifice and resistance embodied by Imam Hussein have resonated with other liberation movements around the world. From the struggle against apartheid in South Africa to the civil rights movement in the United States, the story of Karbala has served as a source of inspiration and a reminder of the power of principled resistance. Leaders like Nelson Mandela and Martin Luther King Jr. drew on the moral and ethical lessons of Karbala to articulate their visions of justice and equality, illustrating the universal appeal of Imam Hussein's legacy. In contemporary times, the legacy of Ashura continues to influence various social and political movements. Activists and organizations fighting for human rights, social justice, and political reform often draw on the themes of Karbala to highlight their causes. The story of Imam Hussein serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of standing up for what is right, even in the face of overwhelming odds. This narrative has been particularly influential in the Middle East, where the memory of Karbala is invoked in the context of struggles against authoritarian regimes and political oppression. Beyond its influence on social and political movements, Ashura also plays a significant role in fostering interfaith dialogue and understanding. The themes of sacrifice, justice, and resistance that underpin the story of Karbala resonate with people of different faiths and backgrounds. Interfaith initiatives that focus on the shared values and commonalities between different religious traditions often use Ashura as a point of reference. These dialogues help to build bridges of understanding and cooperation, promoting peace and mutual respect among diverse communities. In the cultural realm, the legacy of Ashura has inspired a rich body of literature, art, and music. Poets, writers, and artists have drawn on the themes of Karbala to create works that explore the human condition, the struggle for justice, and the nature of sacrifice. The story of Imam Hussein has been depicted in various forms of artistic expression, from classical poetry to contemporary visual arts, highlighting its enduring relevance and resonance. In literature, the themes of Karbala have been explored in both traditional and modern contexts. Classical poets such as Rumi and Hafez have written about the moral and spiritual lessons of Karbala, while contemporary writers have used the narrative to comment on modern-day issues of justice and resistance. The story of Imam Hussein serves as a powerful allegory for the struggles faced by individuals and communities in their quest for justice and righteousness. In the realm of visual arts, the imagery of Karbala has been depicted in paintings, sculptures, and calligraphy. Artists have used the symbols and motifs associated with Ashura to convey messages of hope, resilience, and resistance. The aesthetic representations of Karbala serve as a reminder of the enduring power of Imam Hussein's sacrifice and the moral imperatives it embodies. Music also plays a significant role in the cultural expressions of Ashura. Traditional forms of music, such as Marsia and Noha, are performed during the commemorations of Ashura, evoking deep emotional responses and fostering a sense of communal solidarity. These musical forms have also evolved over time, incorporating contemporary styles and themes to resonate with modern audiences. The fusion of traditional and modern elements in Ashura-related music reflects the dynamic nature of cultural expressions and the ongoing relevance of the themes of Karbala. In addition to its cultural and artistic impact, Ashura also has a significant educational dimension. Institutions and organizations dedicated to Islamic education and research often focus on the lessons of Karbala as part of their curriculum. The story of Imam Hussein is used to teach moral and ethical principles, emphasizing the importance of justice, integrity, and the courage to stand up for what is right. These educational efforts help to instill the values of Ashura in future generations, ensuring that the legacy of Imam Hussein continues to inspire and guide Muslims around the world. The legacy of Ashura also finds expression in various charitable and humanitarian initiatives, inspired by the values of compassion and social responsibility exemplified by Imam Hussein. Many individuals and organizations engage in acts of charity and community service during Muharram. These initiatives include providing food and water to the poor, supporting orphanages, and offering medical services to those in need. The acts of charity performed in the name of Ashura reflect the broader Islamic principles of caring for others and working towards the common good. In conclusion, the legacy of Ashura and its contemporary relevance are evident in the diverse ways in which Muslims around the world commemorate this significant day. From social and political movements to interfaith dialogues, cultural expressions, educational initiatives, and charitable activities, the themes of sacrifice, justice, and resistance that underpin the story of Karbala continue to inspire and mobilize people across different contexts and communities. The story of Imam Hussein and the Battle of Karbala serves as a powerful reminder of the enduring power of faith and the moral duty to stand up against injustice, offering timeless lessons and inspiration for all who seek to uphold the principles of justice and righteousness in their own lives.